I am a sales coordinator for Atlas Van Lines. So I coordinate people's moves in and out of Alaska, down in the lower 48. I coordinate everything from beginning to end. So when they need somebody to move them, they'll call, we give them a quote, and then I coordinate everything for them, handle the whole move. Depending on where you're moving can be a challenge. You know, if you're moving into Anchorage, that's easy. The outer areas, you know, can be a challenge. If you're planning on moving to a village, there's a lot of logistics that go into that. It's not just as simple as moving in to Alaska. You've got so much more involved into it. So I always urge people to come up here in the summertime and take a look at everything first. Don't, you know, come up here on a whim and in the middle of winter and think that this is going to be what you want to do. I've had a few people that have moved from Florida, came up here sight unseen, and they left within a couple months. So yeah, it happens. But you know, the reverse side of that is that we have a lot of people that are from Alaska, born and raised, and we tell them, put your stuff in storage, because when you get down there, you might not like it. And some do, some don't, and some of those that don't end up turning around 2 weeks later and turning their stuff around. So yeah, it goes both ways, especially if you're moving out of Alaska, because it costs about twice as much to move back into Alaska. So that's another thing to look at too. Finding a mover in Alaska is essential. You really, if you're moving to Alaska, you want to have somebody that specializes in moves in and out of Alaska. So calling us at first is the best thing to do. A lot of people don't do that, and then in the end up realizing that that's probably what they should do. One of the things you can do, ultimately your move is based off of weight. So lower the shipment rate, that'll help. Here out of Alaska, if you do the packing of the boxable items, we can help lower the cost a little bit there. But ultimately, you know, if you want to keep your costs down, you're gonna need to keep your weight down. One good rule of thumb is if you haven't worn it or used it in the last 6 months, then the likelihood of you using it is pretty unlikely, so get rid of it. I do a lot of moves for people into remote villages, so those can be a bit challenging. Obviously we don't have a road system going out to the Bethels and the Gnomes of the world, you know, Port Ellsworth, all those places. So there's no road access, so we actually have to fly the goods out or barge it over. This time of year, right now, we have to fly the goods out to like King Salmon. So then you got to fly the goods out. Cold temperatures, stuff sits on the tarmac out there until we get there. Sometimes, you know, so the weather can play a factor, but mainly the villages are the most trying jobs ever. There is a little town, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, outside of Juneau that I moved, and literally it was, you took a boat, like a rowboat type boat, and you drove that to the dock, and then you used a four-wheeler to get the goods out to the people. And contact a mover locally here in Alaska, us preferably, and come and check out the surroundings, I would say, you know, and start early. You know, during the summertime is our peak season, so, you know, if you're planning to move during the summer, you're going to want to definitely plan months in advance. Get your pre-move survey done. Some people will do it at a year in advance, and that way you know, okay, this is how much I have in my house, and decide, especially if you're coming north to Alaska, that, you know, do I need this? Do I need to keep all this stuff? And then get your costs and everything like that. And then once the survey's done, we do that. We can let you know how many days it's going to take and the transit time, how long it's going to take to get stuff here. That's a huge thing in planning your move too, because some people think that your shipment's going to arrive in like 5 days, but in reality, if you're from Florida, your shipment's not going to get here for 4 or 5 weeks. Another thing is, you know, well, you first want to get your quote, so you know how much it's going to be, so you can plan on it, and then get a survey done so we can let you know how much weight you're going to have. That gives you a chance to liquidate stuff to lower your weight, to lower your cost. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but pre-planning is the main thing. I would really plan and do your research before, you set your sight on getting up here.